episode 88.
Are you ready to take your eBay business to the next level? Then hold on, because Ron and Ali are going to take you into the fast lane with the latest tips and insights from some of the biggest and most successful sellers here on the So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast.
Welcome once again to another episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. I'm Ron LeBeau.
And I'm Ali Young.
Hey, everyone. We have with us Dave Snyder. Dave, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. How you doing, Ali?
Oh, do you know what? I'm doing fantastic now. I really am. I'm doing awesome. Good to have you with us, Dave.
Sure is, man. Hey, Dave Snyder is an advanced eBay SEO consultant and creator of the Listing SEO Score. He has been providing hands-on optimization services and leading eBay marketing strategies to select sellers since 2013 at listingseoscore.com. Dave and his wife, Heather, have been selling on eBay at theecobunny.com since 2009. Prior to selling on eBay, Dave was a commercial, industrial, and residential property tax consultant for a firm in the Chicago Loop. Combining his love for eBay and natural bent towards analysis, Dave has become the eBay SEO expert of choice to sellers large and small.
Oh, fantastic. I got words there I'm going to need a dictionary for. This is amazing. Like, he was a commercial, industrial, residential property tax consultant. What is that, Dave?
So, when I got out of college, by the way, if I can, I just want to open this with a quote from Mark Twain.
Oh, let's start it on the proper field here. Let's go for it.
Mark Twain said, most interviews are pure twaddle and valueless. In interviews, as a rule, men seem to talk like anybody but themselves. So I promise that I'll do my very best to talk like Dave Snyder and not like somebody else, okay?
Nice.
But,
Kind of makes me wonder what we can talk about, Ali.
Yeah, I mean, I'm screwed. I must have just pressed mute right now.
I know.
Go hit it, Dave. Go ahead.
So when I got out of college, I got a job as a commercial tax analyst, basically because of the school that I went to. And the reputation the school had just kind of got me in the door of a small company that had a lot of problems. I was out of there in 2.5 years and was hired in just a few days because of my specialty or what I had learned in Cook County, which is the county that Chicago's in. Property taxes are a huge business. And so I did that when I left the company I was working for, I was the director, but I still hated property taxes. And I was always talking about working for myself. Yes. And I hate property taxes for a number of reasons, but I really hated working with them every day. And it was boring. And my wife was the one who was the first one to kind of say, hey, why don't you look at working for yourself if that's what you want to do? So we began selling on eBay while we were doing a number of other things. I actually studied SEO early on to build a couple of affiliate marketing sites that totally tanked. And I have no qualms telling you that. I actually
what's the term? Sorry, you're speaking to a Brit here. You tanked it. What's that? Was that when it went downhill?
Really, really bad.
All right.
We spent a lot of time building them, and they didn't do a damn thing. So, but
Nice.
I learned a lot in the process. And one of the things I was able to do was I actually opened, kind of as a desperation move, I opened my own tax firm from my home. And I was able to get our small website, SnyderandCompanyInc.com, back in the day, ranked on the first page of Google for phrases like Cook County property tax appeals, Chicago property tax appeals. Now, it didn't take a lot of effort, to be honest with you. I had good content and a handful of inbound links. But the reason why it was so easy was because the industry is like a grandfather industry. Half the people in it didn't even have a website. And again, this is about 6 or 7 years ago. So things have changed since then. But I knew that I had learned some things in SEO, but it wasn't until the second year of selling that I realized you could apply that to eBay. And so as we sold, we basically started to sell my wife's handmade things, and we realized it was going to take forever for her to make everything that we were going to sell. So we had a handful of hiccups, including some drop shipping, and we finally landed on this concept of a recyclery where, I hated walking into a thrift store seeing half a dozen things that I knew would sell, but I couldn't buy them because I only sold toys and games. I just
Yeah.
So, we loved thrifting, especially some estate sales, but estate sales are kind of overblown in Chicago. Lots of people show up for them. I could talk about that forever, but we really liked thrifting. Ended up dropping the drop shipping because we wanted complete control over the process. We realized we had spent a lot of time building this brand, and we didn't want to hand that over to someone else. And so we ended up doing that for a couple of years full time, which was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed that. But then I began to transition into the SEO thing for a number of different reasons. One, because people actually need the service.
Isn't it kind of neat, though, Dave, when you find out that you have a talent that other people need? I mean, seriously, because, I know, Ali and I do this show. We love doing this show. It's actually a blast. And, we don't even think of it as work. It's not work. But it's really kind of cool that we are kind of a catalyst to bring people like yourself on to help other people. And that feeling of helping other people, even in a small way, just really, really, is really kind of a really cool thing. Yeah. And especially when you like what you're doing.
And I can tell when I listen to your program that you guys are having fun, and that makes a difference because a lot of podcasts are just kind of weird. I'm not sure why they're doing it.
We're not in the weird category. Wow, geez, how do we get beyond that one?
You're in the weird category.
I think you only listened to episode 18. I think on that episode we weren't weird. Yeah, okay, I got you.
Half drunk,
right?
No, that's cool. We love it, and it sounds like you love what you're doing with the SEO thing. It's really kind of cool, and I'm sure you're helping a lot of people with that.
But what the thing I love about the SEO thing, because it's so untalked about. Like we talk about how to list products on eBay, we talk about how to source them, and get that ka-ching and all that sort of beautiful stuff. But the thing that I think overdone is like titles aren't being done properly in the sense that they're too small, not enough keywords, specific type of thing. So what is a good way to SEO, let's say your listing? Let's say you have a listing. What would be your top whatever number of things to create to do that?
So there's a number of things that people don't know, and I've debated how much I'm going to share with your listening audience because I get paid to tell people some of these things.
Commission time, Ron. I'm hearing commission, Ron.
Yeah. But there are some things I have decided I want to tell because I am so sick of the BS that I see that masquerades as SEO advice in the eBay community. So there are a lot of myths. I could spend some time. I could tell you a couple of myths and tell you the actual answer. But to just answer your question, the first thing is your keywords need to be driven by buyers, not by sellers. And so this is a concept that is missing on the eBay community. Tools like, and I'll mention them, Terapeak, they get their keywords from other listings. Okay, their keywords are coming from listings that sell well. I can give you dozens of examples of how to get a product to sell that have nothing to do with their keywords. You got some guy to China who comes in and they undercut everyone's prices. Okay, they're selling lower than wholesale price, and they've gotten to the top of best match search for a number of phrases, not because those are good search phrases, but simply because they sell all the time. One of the problems with the best match search algorithm is that it gives preferential treatment to listings that sell well. And this is both good and bad, but there are ways to get things to sell that have nothing to do with the quality of the product, nothing to do with the quality of the listing. And so the mere idea that because it's ranked well and as a result sells well, or vice versa, sells well and as a result ranks well, it's therefore got good keywords, is absurd. And yet this is one of the main things I talk about that I never hear from SEOs. The SEO community, this is something I say all the time, the SEO community does not know eBay, and eBay sellers do not know SEO. So one of the basic principles of SEO is that search is driven by buyers. So if a buyer uses a term, you need to be using that term. Mm-hmm. And if buyers don't use that term, you don't want to use the term just because someone else is using it. And there's all kinds of examples. I'll give you a really classic example from a client that I worked with that sold a very specific kind of diamond. I was doing keyword research around the phrase diamond pendant necklace. Okay.
Okay.
According to the Google Keyword Planner, diamond pendant necklace was searched 9,900 times last month. So I was doing some keyword research, and I thought I would put into practice what a lot of sellers do, which is they go after what they call low-hanging fruit. They go after a phrase that they think is going to have less competition and be easier to rank for.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I went looking after this term chain instead of necklace. All right. So I was doing keyword research around diamond pendant chain. Turns out diamond pendant chain is searched a whopping 50 times in the month compared to 9,900 times for necklace. What makes it much worse, though, is that there's roughly 50% more sellers using the term chain than using the term necklace.
And missing out on
sales. Such a rampant problem. Exactly. And so that word chain is just taking up space. There are lots of other very good SEO phrases for those items because, no two diamond pendant necklaces are going to be exactly alike. All kinds of really good terms to use. So one of the main things is your keywords have to come from buyers. And my tool of choice is called ubersuggest.io. It's UBER, the word suggest.io. That aggregates what's called Google autocomplete. So, when you go into Google and you start to type something and you get these suggestions, those are actually coming from buyers. Okay. And some of them are weird. Okay. There'll be phrases you don't expect, but they're weird because people search weird things. And you would
That'll be me. I'll be the guy that's doing that. Yeah.
Cut it out, Ollie. You're giving everybody a bad search, man.
I don't know if you guys heard this story about this woman. This was recent. This was a senior citizen. I don't know how they got a hold of her search behavior, but she was typing in, this is something we're missing in society, is kindness and politeness. She was typing her queries as polite questions. Could you please show me? She didn't know how to use a search engine. Could you please do this? And then she would end it with thank you. But it is surprising sometimes what people will search. And it doesn't matter what sellers call something. What matters is what do your buyers call that same thing. And so that's what your listing needs to be built on. And I could give examples all day long of that kind of behavior. But the second thing is when you do your item specifics, you need to include your entire title in your item specifics. And there's a reason for this. You're going to have default options with your item specifics. Okay, those default options you're getting from eBay are essential to show up for structured data pages that eBay is pushing out to Google and other search engines. There's a reason why eBay is doing this. I could take a lot of rabbit trails here, so I won't talk about that just yet. But you need to be using those default fields in order to show up on these structured data pages. The second thing you need to do is utilize the optional item specifics in order to incorporate the remaining terms from your listing title. So you get 80 characters. You spend all this time choosing the right keywords. You want to replicate those keywords, every one of those keywords in your item specifics. And this is the thing that no one knows. The item description, the reason for this is that the item description is currently hidden in an iframe. Google cannot see your item description. And this was what I was wondering, am I going to tell people this? Because when I tell clients this, they're like, really? Wow, like it's this big deal, But no, it's hidden in an iframe, and they're not using the no frame tag. The no frame tag would allow Google to follow the URL and find where the description is actually being hosted. It's not being hosted on eBay.com. It's on a different domain. And for the most part, everything I've read says from Google that unless that no frame tag is there, Google will likely not be able to find it. So if you want keyword repetition to be found well in Google search, you have to have your whole title in item specifics. I don't see anybody doing that, but I do that from my clients, and that's something I would tell eBay sellers to do. and start doing right now. It's essential.
So you're saying, okay, so you come up with the keywords and you do your keyword, research, and then you create this 80 character title, right? Yep. And then you're saying just copy and paste that in the item specifics, just so you have it.
You must be breaking it up, aren't you?
Paste it.
You're breaking up. You're not copying the whole title and putting it in one item specific. It's like the color. If there was a color in the title, you'd be putting that under the color specific. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
So you want every one of your terms to show up somewhere in your item specifics, but you want your item specifics to be structured like item specifics are structured. So that's going to require some imagination on your part. How do I incorporate, a certain phrase? We were just doing this yesterday, and if we included the phrase "for newborn" in our title because that phrase was searched by buyers, then we need to find a way to include both words newborn and the word for. You'd be surprised the differences in search results on eBay when you don't use certain basic words in your title. So there are certain things that people will include in their searches. Some of them are important to include in your title, some of them are not. But the Listing SEO Score is an actual process that I've developed for my clients, and what it does is it's a process that allows me to accurately. I basically assign a ratio to every keyword phrase relative to a specific product type, and I can tell you, based on that score, which phrases are the most likely to get your listing seen, not sold, because you've got to do everything else. This is something else that people don't like to hear. You can't have a lousy listing and do great SEO and expect it to sell. You can't have lousy photos. Okay, it's everything else has to be in place. Okay, I'm writing an article right now on the problems of market saturation on eBay. This is something I run into a lot with my clients. They're trying to introduce a product. I'm working with a seller right now from the UK of baby slings. And baby slings, these wraps that women wear, these are an extremely popular item, but they're also very popular with sellers. So there's tons of them on eBay. And as eBay transitions away from its former glory of the one-off vintage collectible item, even though that's basically all we sell. We do sell a handful of new things, but most of the stuff we sell is used in nature, but that's not the direction eBay's headed. A tweet last month, official tweet of eBay's, said that 80% of what they said it very carefully, is sold as new. That doesn't mean that all the sales are new. It's the inventory that's new. And that's a big problem for eBay, because in certain markets, you've got, take, for example, a client I had that sells aerial lift equipment. You know what that is? It's these, it's like industrial equipment that lifts people up in the air.
No.
Okay.
Who would want that? Why would you want that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what's hilarious is the new ones sell very poorly on eBay, but used ones sell tremendously well. So for this article, I did research around the phrase scissor lift, which is a specific kind of lift that you see in factories. There were 296 sales. 4 of them were new. The rest were used, or 4 parts are working or refurbished. So like it was 2% were new. But the client I had, even though they had exceptional used equipment, didn't want to sell it. They only wanted to sell their new stuff. So I spent time optimizing listings that didn't sell. And there was nothing I could do to convince them, list your used inventory, because that's what sells in this category. Talking to a seller of women's corsets. She said 3 years. What's that?
That's very handy. I mean, you're selling everything, aren't you? You're selling everybody else's stuff. I mean, who has corsets in this day and age?
Right. Well, you would think. See, and this is the crazy stuff. I'm not selling this stuff. I'm just consulting someone who sells it. Okay. But people forget what sells on eBay.
Yeah.
You practically sell anything. And corsets apparently are a huge business. There are women who wear these things outside of their clothing. They wear it as a top. Okay.
Oh, my word.
Go figure. But what's crazy is for the word corset, she said there were about 50,000 listings just 3 years ago. There are now over 570,000 listings for the word corset on eBay. It is a massively saturated market. And there wasn't a lot I could do for her because she has been pushed out. I kid you not, when I started this article, there were 565,000. And within 3 weeks, there were 570,000. I don't know if that's typical because I haven't been watching it, but it's crazy how.
And after this episode releases, it's going to go straight to 800,000.
I'm telling you, it's just unbelievable. So the only way, aside from differentiating yourself with branding, with your pricing, and how cheap are you going to go? We do not target. As sellers ourselves, we do not target the cheap market. I don't know about you guys, but we target the person who is willing to pay for that same item, and they're going to be your happiest customers. And the guy who pays you $5 for something that was probably worth at least 10 or 12 is going to be the person who's going to have the most complaints.
Sure.
If you are able to deliver on the expectations of someone who's going to pay you full price, that's going to be your happiest customer. They're going to give you nice feedback, and they're going to be happy people.
Ron and Ali will be right back after this short break.
Do you want to set yourself apart from other eBay sellers? Want to look like one of the big brands? How would you like to feel confident that you could do it yourself but know that the support is there if you get stuck? Now you can create your branded eBay store and have your store doing more. With Auction Pro Template's premium do-it-yourself eBay template. This template is loaded with tools and features you won't find in any other system. Go to yourstoredoingmore.com now to see what's included. That's yourstoredoingmore.com.
Be sure to check out SoYouWannaSellOnEBay.com for the latest podcasts and all the information you need to get selling fast.
Well, Dave, I tell you what, man, we kind of put you on cruise control and we kind of took off. This is great, man. Hey, listen.
I haven't let you guys say
seriously.
No, that's brilliant.
The information is just amazing. And it's something we haven't really talked about on this show. So we definitely appreciate that. But let's break it down a little bit for somebody who is just starting on eBay. And I'm sure what they just heard from you is like really overwhelming. Let's just talk to the person who's just starting on maybe their first couple listings. How would you say, or what would you suggest for them to do the research so they get the good title, so they get a good sale and have a good listing? How would you talk to them?
So the first thing I would tell them is make sure you know what it is. And that sounds kind of crazy maybe, but you don't always know what you've got. You think the thing's going to sell. Maybe it's old or vintage. I got a great story about this. We had this glass bottle one time that we listed for sale. And it had this, it was about, 6 inches high, and it had this weird, it was antique, and it had this weird angled, narrow neck on it.
Okay.
And we thought we could not find anything like it on eBay. And so we thought it was like a decanter for like salad dressing or vinegar. Well, fortunately,
how did you come up with that conclusion?
I don't know. We're like, it looks like a decanter, something you'd put oil in, like for
right.
Who has this stuff? Yeah, this just got to go on eBay. It's weird. Yep. Carry on. Sorry, David. Anytime I hear some weird stuff, my mouth opens. Sorry.
Well, that's not what it was. We had a nice fellow eBay seller who sent us a message and said, don't think you want to eat anything out of that bottle. That's an antique male bedpan you're on.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me, So we thanked him profusely, and we changed
Dear buyer, that is not a salad dressing.
Yeah, stick your vinegar in that.
Yeah. So, we changed the listing and it sold.
So what keyword?
What
keyword did you put for that then?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's a good point, Dave. I mean, seriously, because you thought you were probably pretty sure that you had something that was probably along the lines of a decanter. Maybe it wasn't, just, vinegar and oil or for salads, but maybe it was something along those lines that you would find in a kitchen somewhere, and and it wound up being in the bedroom. Yeah.
I mean, well, for the longest time, it was a big joke around here. We would start laughing just because you don't always know what you've got, and so that's the one way going to other listings can be helpful, is to find out what you've got. But then what you want to do is you want to look at what the main terms are for that item, and research narrowly. Start with a handful of words. Don't research it with a lot of words. Start with the fewest number of words you can. So we had I'd say pick an example. We had a vintage sun-kissed juicer. Okay.
Yeah.
You got some stuff floating around, haven't you?
I'm telling you, and it's funny because you don't know what even at the time when we obtained it, we thought, well, this might be worth $20. Because it was green in color, it was worth $90. But
wow.
Again, that thing routinely sells for $15 or $20. Again, so you want to use the sold listings tool on eBay to research actual sales.
That's a good point. Item. That's a good point, because if you don't use the sold or completed listings and you're just going through, you can see somebody might see that thing and say, yeah, I want $1,500 for it. Well, what you want for it and what you're going to get for it are two different things. Let's go and look at the sold listings and see what history shows that it has sold.
1p.
Yes. Yeah, and so you was that P?
No. Is it not English money? No, we're not going back to the bottle. We're not going back to the... Sorry, it's 1 cent. Let's call it a cent.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, my goodness.
So you didn't mean that. That's good.
No, but it was actually quite good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah. Timing is everything.
Sorry, David. I keep interrupting you. Sorry, man.
All right. No, please.
It's just that I haven't not talked this much on a podcast in years. I don't know, man. I'm feeling left out.
As you should. No.
So, and again, that's my thing is I'm a consultant by trade. I did consulting before. I used to get the hard clients when I was, doing consulting and property taxes, and now I consult eBay sellers. It's not a whole lot different of an experience. I really like talking to eBay sellers just because I learn something new every time. I'm always learning about the eBay market from eBay sellers. It took me a while to catch on to just how saturated the market was until client after client kept saying, we've been pushed out of our market because it's overcrowded. But back to your question, when you're doing your keyword research, start with, again, it's that ubersuggest.io tool, and start with the fewest keywords possible. If you've got an ornament from Bloomingdale's and it's a Christmas ornament and it's in the form of a woman, start with Bloomingdale's ornament. Don't use words like woman or female because you don't know what someone is going to search. And so like we had one that was a shopper ornament. This is woman with Bloomingdale's shopping bags. Still haven't sold that thing, but when we were doing the keyword research for it, we found that people search the word girl, not the word lady, and every other listing uses the word lady.
Oh,
so we're able to dominate search for that item. We still are. I don't think it's that popular of an item. It does sell, but that's the kind of thing that you don't want to do. Is don't assume that 3 or 4 words. Stick to as few words as possible. And then if you've got too many results, then you can start to refine your search, but always start narrow.
No, that's great advice because, obviously, getting the keywords right is key to, making a sale, because you can have the best looking pictures, the best looking photos, the best description and everything. But it starts with the title. I mean, if I'm not finding, if my search isn't being found, then everything else is moot, right?
Exactly. And if people can't find you, there's no point. I wrapped up a relationship with a seller of high definition cables. And these people were really good to work with. They have, since I've worked with them, made a bad decision, and I've warned them on that. And the results that we obtained have already begun to lower because they insisted on adding text to their images. And a lot of high definition cables are made in China, and so they've got USA seller and a little circle on their images. Can't do that. And I cannot tell you how many times I have talked to clients who are breaking eBay policy. And the way eBay is dealing with that 99 times out of 100 is that they're not going to message you. They're not going to tell you take that out. They're going to expect you to know eBay policy. And if you break it, you will get bumped down in search. That's how they're going to handle it. And people will say, yeah, but I see these people who are breaking eBay policy and, they're dominating search. Give eBay time. It may be a few years before they get caught, but once they're caught, like actually eBay was caught in May of 2014 by Google, eBay is just now getting out of that mess that they actually caused themselves. And it was a Google penalty that eBay incurred in May of 2014, and Devin Wenig, the CEO, actually admitted to this in the first earnings call this year. And that's something I would like to recommend to sellers is go to Google and type in eBay Inc. events. And the first listing, the first thing that pops up there on Google, the first page is going to be the page for the earnings calls. These are done by the leadership at eBay for their shareholders. And you will hear a lot of things you don't understand, but you will also hear things, you will learn things about eBay. If you're going to base your income on this company, you need to have as much of a stake in understanding where they're at as someone who bought stock in eBay would. That's the purpose of the earnings call, and you will learn tremendous things about the direction eBay is headed, about the challenges they're facing. Don't pay so much attention to the Facebook groups, to the discussion boards. Go to the source when you want that information. That's because they're very honest. They've been talking about their problems with SEO for 2 years now, and John Donahoe, the predecessor, was not upfront with why they were having this problem. Wenig has been, which gives me a tremendous. I feel very. I was not a John Donahoe fan, and I have a lot of hope for the future of eBay because of the direction that Devin Wenig has taken it.
Wow. I mean, you're talking about stuff that I didn't even know existed,
It's time for a quick break, but the guys will be right back here on the So You Want to Sell on eBay podcast.
What's more exciting than starting your own eBay empire with one of Auction Pro Template's custom eBay store and listing template packages? How about saving yourself $200 when you do it? That's right. Right now, you can take advantage of starting your own totally custom eBay store for the insanely low price of $697 when you use promo code SAVE200 during checkout at AuctionProTemplates.com. You still get all of the amazing features and benefits as before, like a custom designed eBay store and matching custom eBay listing design, video tutorials, software, custom branding, 1 year free hosting, and so much more. But now you get to save yourself $200 doing it. So celebrate the start of something awesome with $200 in savings when you order your very own custom eBay store and listing template package. Go to AuctionProTemplates.com and check out all of the features and benefits of having a totally custom eBay store and use promo code SAVE200 today. Have you heard about the success story of Meat Snacker, one of the largest online meat providers around? They've tripled their sales revenue in the past year. Tripled! And they did it with Ecom Dash. Ecom Dash's software optimizes your business by putting all your sales channels in one dashboard, integrating with eBay, Amazon, ShipStation, and more. It even syncs inventory and routes sales orders and forwards tracking information to your buyers, all automated and hands-off. Find out how to grow your sales at Ecom Dash. That's ECOMDASH.com/podcast.
We're back with more tips, insights, and interviews with Ron and Ali.
I mean, seriously, Dave, we've run out of time, but I mean, wait a minute. I know Ron. I have this feeling. I can sense him. Ron, go on, get your last question in.
No. I was just going to say,
Go on.
I'm really happy that Devin Winnig is actually the CEO right now. I think he's done a lot of great things. I used to work at the same company that he used to was the CEO of prior to eBay, and he did a lot of great things for Thomson Reuters as well. So I think there's a lot of good leadership there with Devin at the helm, and just a lot of good things in the future here.
That's now, Ron.
That's excellent to hear.
Do you want to interrupt me anymore?
Just go ahead and start talking. I might.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So no. As like Ron said, yeah, we got a lot of respect for all those people at eBay and stuff. And I got a lot of respect for you, Dave, because we brought you on as soon as we heard from John and stuff that you're in the SEO and stuff. We brought you on because this is a different type of topic. This is something actually that me and Ron want to get more into, more like in-depth conversation of eBay and stuff.
Right.
But it's been fantastic to have you, and we've got to have you back again. I mean,
that would be fantastic.
We just got to have you back.
You guys are a lot of fun to talk to. So
I've never not talking this much. In fact, my wife thinks she just phoned the ambulance. You know, are you all right, Ali? I haven't heard you. So I will.
But we have to end this thing somehow.
Yes, I'm trying.
You
keep interrupting me, Ron.
Yeah, I know. Can I end it with a myth? It'll take me like 2 minutes. Is that all right?
Myth.
eBay SEO myth.
Okay.
So
let's do it.
One of the big myths right now is save your photos with keywords in the name. This comes from a handful of pages that were uploaded to eBay 11 years ago, and they're still online. People can read them. If you type eBay SEO into Google, it's one of the top pages. It says something like eBay Introduction to Search Engine Optimization is the name of them. They're terrible pages. Do not get your information from those pages. I could talk a lot about them, but what I want to tell you is that when you upload your images to eBay, first of all, eBay renames the photos. eBay renames them, so your keywords are gone. But secondly, the purpose of associating keywords with your images is so that they can be found in a search engine. The content of that image can be known. One of the primary ways that Google does this, aside from things like page content, is the keywords that are directly associated with it through what's called the alt tag or the alternate text tag. So if you go to your eBay listing, you hover your cursor over the main photograph, this little white box will pop up with text in it. That's coming from your alt tag. That is inserted for you by eBay. It's your title. Okay? So your photos are automatically being found in image search just by creating the listing. There is nothing you have to do special. But don't tell that to the people in the Facebook groups who are all saving their images with keywords in the name, wasting their time. You can save the image any way you want. It makes no difference whatsoever. Don't waste your time with these gimmicks.
I love it, man. I just... It's a shame no one else can see the video because you got the passion in your face as well. I mean, it's just... I can see that this is really important. I mean, thank you so much, Dave. We'll post all the notes from today's interview on our show notes page, which can be found at www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/show notes. Dave, I'm sure there's going to be people etching to talk to you. What's the best way that people can sort of communicate with you, get in touch with you?
So you can always send us a message through our eBay store at theecobunny.com. It's TheEcobunny.com. If you want to consult me, you can find me at Listing SEO Score.com. But I'm also going to give out my phone number. And
you sure? I'll be phoning you every minute, Dave. Every minute.
I am going to give a free 10 minutes away to any listener of your program at 773-987-9800. 6947. That's my business line. You may get my voicemail, but I promise you I will call you back, and we will do 10 minutes. You can ask me anything you want for free.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay. I'll be speaking to you in 10 minutes' time, Dave. Okay, brilliant. Well, thanks once again for joining us, Dave. Really had fun. From everyone here at So You Want to Sell on eBay, I'm Ali Young.
And I'm Ron LeBeau.
That's all for this episode of So You Want to Sell on eBay. Be sure to check out our next episode or any past episodes by going online to soyouwantasellonebay.com. Also, be sure to follow us on your favorite social media sites, facebook.com/So You Want to Sell on eBay, and Twitter at Your eBay Podcast. Thanks for listening. And until next time, happy selling.
Have an idea for a topic or know someone who would like to be on the show? Let us know. Just go to www.soyouwantasellonebay.com/interview. We look forward to hearing from you. This podcast was produced in part by Pro VoiceWorks.